In this video, I'm gonna walk you through how you can onboard hundreds of new high-paying customers every single week with very minimal work on your end and virtually guarantee their success. If you're new to the channel, my name is Ravi Abuvala, founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build client acquisition machines for our customers. And because we're so good at what we do out of necessity, I had to learn how to build a streamlined fulfillment system so that we could onboard dozens of new clients every single week and still remain hilariously profitable. Now, before I jump into my computer here, it's very important that you understand that not only are we streamlining customer fulfillment, because anybody could just, do less stuff for their customers, we are able to streamline customer fulfillment and also retain a 98% success rate. That's why we have literally hundreds and hundreds of in-depth case studies at scalingwithsystems.com, because we are able to combine both of them together. And this video is going to walk you through how you can almost virtually guarantee customer success while at the same time scaling the back-end fulfillment for your customers without doing so much more work on your end. So without further ado, this is how to streamline successful client fulfillment. Step number 3 is streamline fulfillment. So this is a hard lesson I had to learn originally in my advertising agency, because we were working with real estate agents and doctors and dentists and chiropractors and everybody under the sun. So every single campaign that we had to do for them was custom. And because of that, I could never delegate it out to somebody. And I thought that was more valuable for the prospects and my clients, until I realized that people don't actually care what you do for them. They just want the end transformation. So I figured out that my job was to learn what the most efficient way to deliver that transformation was, and that's what I did. And we did one campaign on Facebook ads. I went from a 6-hour setup time whenever we signed a new customer to 10 minutes that I gave to a virtual assistant for $3 an hour. So the difference is unbelievable, and this should be the next step, because at this point you should be getting cheap eyeballs every single day. You should be turning those cheap eyeballs into leads through your sales funnel, and then you should be having a sales team or sales systems turning those leads into paying customers every 6.5 days for your high ticket product or for your business or whatever else you're running here. So the step 3 is streamline fulfillment. This is one of my favorite quotes in a sales book here, which is, our job is to not worry about fulfillment. Our job is to bury those bastards. Now, I'm sorry about the potty language, but if your kids are around, cover your ears, but I guess it's too late for that. It's important here to know that when you're doing sales and marketing, the biggest mistake I see people doing is all of a sudden they start closing a lot of deals because they're following the Scaling with Systems process. You're following the stuff that I'm talking about inside of here. And they start going, oh my God, how am I going to fulfill? How am I going to fulfill? And they freak out and they stop sales and marketing. They stop the thing that was going to do it because their brain freaked them out. And then they work on fulfillment. They figure out it's not even nearly as big of a deal as they thought. And then they're back on that revenue roller coaster again. Okay. So the trick about it is that fulfillment, which I think fulfillment, I can't spell here. I think it's full. Fulfillment. I'm not going to edit that out because I want you guys to see the real Ravi here, okay? Fulfillment should always stretch to deliver what was promised, but never be out of reach. That's why I put it in bold there, because in order to really make noise and have success in today's sales and marketing, you have to make big, bold claims, okay? But where most people go wrong is either A, they make really tiny little claims, that way they don't upset anybody, but then everyone's like, I don't want to work with that person. Or B, they make insanely bold claims that they can't back up, and then someone pays them money and they don't deliver, and that's what's called scamming. That's how you get in lawsuits, that's how you get sued by the FTC, that's how you get in a lot of trouble. So it should be a stretch, but it should never be out of reach, okay? Your job as a business owner is to deliver that transformation that you're selling in the most efficient manner possible. Nothing more and nothing less. And you can do this through a bunch of different things, right? It depends on if you're a coach, a consultant, if you're a real estate agent, you're a real estate investor, you run a SaaS company. All of these are going to vary, but examples could be done for you services such as real estate or coaching calls or having digital assets, selling digital products. And this is going to adapt and change over time, and that's totally okay. I'll give you a story really quickly. When I started my advertising agency, Prospect Social, and we were working with real estate agents, I used to do just done for you lead generation, and I was trying to get them 2 to 3 closings a month. And I would be sending them hundreds of leads every single month. So that was the mechanism. That was my fulfillment. I ran paid ads. I got them hundreds of leads. But what I realized is that they weren't calling those leads. And because they weren't calling those leads, the leads weren't actually closing. And because the leads weren't closing, my job was not right. I wasn't delivering the transformation, even though it was their fault for not calling the leads. So as a business owner, I had 2 options. I could just say, oh, it's your fault. And they say, no, it's my fault. And it's just a game of cat and mouse. Or I could figure out how I can deliver instead of just leads, booked appointments in my real estate agents' calendars and actually deliver the transformation that I'm promising. And that's what we did. We hired an ISA, inter-service agent team, to call and qualify all of these leads coming in. So we did step 1 and step 2 for them. And then we had an ISA team call and qualify, did 12 touch points over 8 days. And then only the most qualified ones became booked on our real estate agent's calendar. And that itself was insane. We were the first ones in the market to do it, way before Zillow and Realtor.com and anybody else offered it. I was put on Fox News because of it. My company totally blew up because we just made one little switch, and that was different from what we'd originally done. Okay, so ask yourself, sit there. I was at dinner with one of my highly level clients the other night here in Miami, Florida, and he said, I have to ask you a question. Do you think that you are the absolute best in the world at what you do? And do you think you 100% deliver on the transformation that you give your customers? And I had to think of it for a second, and I turned back to him and I said, yes, I do. But if you had asked me 8 months ago, I would not have been able to say yes, because I'm constantly adding and changing and updating to making ours the best program out there. So ask yourself the question, if you are the best at what you do. And I wanted to show you an example of what I'm talking about here. This is Scaling with Systems. I know this is kind of small as a screenshot here. This is what version 1 of Scaling with Systems looked like, which was, it was good, but it was pretty bad at the same time. It was a Loom video. I was shooting it out of AirPods. It was like 8 modules long. It still delivered the transformation, but it wasn't as intensive as what Scaling with Systems 3.0 is. Then I created Scaling with Systems 2.0, which was awesome. We made a few $1 million from that. Most of our case studies and testimonials came through that, and that was also really, really great. And then finally, let me actually pull this up so I can show you guys. We created Scaling with Systems 3.0, which is like my Mona Lisa. It's my Sistine Chapel. There's hundreds of modules inside of here, but it's laid out in a very easy to follow format. I created this roadmap without all of the redacted sides on it so that people can see step by step. These little yellow things, they actually give you easy steps to take on that thing, and they link to a module inside of the program where we talk about that step, right? I couldn't have made it easier for our clients, and it goes so much more in depth. And so I had version 1, I had version 2, and now I have version 3. So be aware that what you create, your backend fulfillment, is going to change over time, and that's totally okay. And the streamlined and systemized fulfillment, figuring out what is the most efficient way to deliver that transformation, is going to also be the reason why you have such high profit margins. Like for us, we have one customer success manager for over 1,200 clients, and we don't have customer complaints. I'm telling you, we do not have customer complaints. So it's not that he's not being able to be reached. It's because most of the questions, most of the issues, any kind of obstacles, we've put FAQs, we've put inside of the course itself so that people are actually getting answers, but they're doing it in a leveraged way that doesn't take up my time or the time of my team, okay? So tips on systemizing your fulfillment system. Number 1 is to have one offer productized for scale. So instead of offering 50 things to everybody, and then once you try to scale, you have to hire like this other, person for $150,000 a year, because there's the only way that one person can know website design, SEO, ads, all that other stuff. Well, if you just do one thing for one group of people, you can systemize that and even give it to a virtual assistant, like what we place for our clients, and they're gonna be able to execute most of it for you. And that's why for ourselves and for our clients, the cost to fulfill is about 10%. Operating expenses are 10%. Okay, that's how you stay above 50% profit margins at multiple 7 figures like ourselves and our clients. Tip number 2 here is to set up systems and, once again, I don't know how to spell, automations for common questions and roadblocks inside your company. So if anytime a client has an issue, they can just text you on your phone and ask you the answer to that issue, that's not good for them, and that is sure as hell not good for you. You have to figure out what is a system way you can deliver responses. So for us, what we do is we have an entire course with over 120 modules that answers every single question that a client could have. So they can get answers, they can use this little search bar in the top right hand of the screen, and they can search for whatever they want to search inside of here and get the answers they want to search for. Maybe they want something a little bit more in depth, so we created something called an asset review, which I'll pull up for you really quick. So here are asset reviews that my customers are sending in, and you can see that I literally come in here and I spend 30 minutes every single day and I answer every single one of these asset reviews one at a time, okay? So that's the second option they can do it. I'm not having to hop on a one-on-one call with them. They're not having to find a time on their calendar that works. They send in a form that says, hey, what's your question? Show me a Loom video, attach your assets that you want me to review, and send it in, and then I shoot them a Loom video back. So once again, it takes about 30 minutes of my time. I'm able to service thousands of clients doing it. I have a Facebook group of inner circle of our clients that are coming there. We have over 600 people in that Facebook group right now. People are sharing their wins, their losses, their questions, all of that stuff. A lot of answers can be answered inside of there. We have 4 times a week Q&A/implementation calls where people can hop on and get their questions answered, but it's not one-on-one. It's in a group setting where we can answer these questions for our clients. They're happy, we're happy, keeps my profit margins high. And then the final 2 ways are a support ticket, so they can actually send an email into support@scalingsystems.com. I have my customer success manager manage that. There's a 72-hour turnaround time on that. And then finally, if worse comes to worse, they need absolute immediate help, we'll do a one-on-one call with them. But there's all of these steps before it that is so much easier for them and for us that we don't ever really do that many one-on-ones. If someone wants it, we'll do it, but we really don't do that many of them. So look inside your business and figure out, am I fully removed from it, and is it systemized so that my client's happy, but I'm also very efficient, okay? And then the final 2 things here is that the best way to increase retention is to just actually deliver what your promise is. I had a mastermind with my higher level clients in Miami a few months ago, and one of the number 1 questions they asked me was like, Ravi, he ran a SaaS company, and he was like, Ravi, our churn rate is about 30%, meaning 30% of the people that joined were leaving every single month. And he said, how do we increase our churn rate? I hired a brand coach, I hired a fulfillment director, and I want them to come up with packages and letters that we can send to people so that they stay longer. And I said, look, my man, people are not going to stay or leave because you send them a handwritten card. We do all of that. They get cards. We send our clients books. But the reason why our customers work with us and then continue to pay us money and continue to excel into our higher level programs is because simply we just deliver what we promised we were going to deliver. We do what we said we're going to deliver. So I said, your biggest mistake or your biggest issue right here is in 3 places. Your marketing is making big claims that your sales team is not backing up, or your sales team is making big claims that your fulfillment is not backing up, or your marketing is making big claims that your fulfillment's not backing up. So one of those 3 areas where the prospect is really dealing with your company, sales, marketing, or fulfillment, there's a disconnect. So you either need to lower your claim or, in my preference, raise your fulfillment to actually meet the claim, okay? And then the final thing here is that the time between when you close a deal and when you reach out to a prospect is absolutely pivotal here, okay? I was gonna show you guys maybe I'll just screenshot it really quickly. Oh, I can't because it's going to show the phone number. But we have a Slack channel whenever someone closes a deal, and it includes all the information about the deal. The salesperson puts it in there. It's an automated process, part of our sales systems. And then we also include that new client's phone number. And then our customer success manager picks up the phone and calls that person immediately and says, hey, thanks so much for joining Scaling with Systems. Have you filled out your onboarding form? What are your immediate questions? And that way, when someone pays their credit card and they get off the phone, they're not freaking out like, oh my God, was this the right thing? Is this guy going to run away with my money? Even if they are thinking that, within 30 seconds, they get a call from one of our customer success managers who's like, what's going on, my man? I heard you joined, congratulations. And it just lowers their stress levels, and they have finally found somebody that actually delivers what they promised they're going to deliver, okay? So that was tips on systemizing your fulfillment. Once again, one billionth what I cover inside of the program. I can't go too much in depth on this because I'll lose my voice even more than I already have. But hopefully you understand the power in systemizing your back-end fulfillment. If you do step 1 and step 2 of these correctly and you're getting a bunch of eyeballs, if you found product market fit, you're getting a bunch of eyeballs, but then your fulfillment can't keep up and you're not delivering results, your churn rate is high, or you can't even close new deals. Like, the worst thing I've ever seen is us figure out 1 and 2 for our clients, and then 3 comes in where they have to systemize for fulfillment and they have to turn off ads or close down their calendar. And that's the scariest thing in the world. So don't become that person. Figure out how you can systemize your fulfillment so that you can take on hundreds of new clients every single month without breaking everything and keeping a 10% operating margin. So you're running at 50, 60% profits. Okay. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. At the bottom of this video and to the side, there's gonna be a button to book a time to speak with us. Once again, if any one of these steps has resonated with you where you're like, wow, this is really interesting, I can see how this is powerful, you see the case studies, you see the testimonials, and you just wanna speak with us, you do not have to buy on that call. We don't care how much of the 7 hours you've consumed. This is a different, this is you going through, spending the time to go through this course and then seeking questions from you going through this course. Book a time to speak with us. We'll have a discovery call. We'll walk through this roadmap. We'll walk through our program with you. We'll see, what's your product market fit looking like? Do you have copywriting? Do you have sales letters? Do you have ads? What's your back-end fulfillment looking like? We can show you case studies specifically. There's hundreds of them that we haven't even published yet. So case studies specifically of, where you're at and where somebody else is at that we've worked with, and see if that transformation is something that you want as well. Nonetheless, I hope you guys got value out of this, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.